Beautiful Monday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and I'm starting with Vanguard on the paper review. Vanguard's leading story says 2027 polls. Our three Southern senators blocked real-time result transmission. That's according to sources. Senate bows to pressure to hold emergency sitting tomorrow instead of February 24. Nigeria Bar Association worries over delay in Electoral Act amendment, says judicial interpretation key to credible polls. No mandatory e-transmission of results, no election. That's coming from NLC. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. On page 27, Kanu orders cancellation of Monday sit-at-home. And here there's a picture showing the British Deputy High Commissioner in Lagos, Governor of Lagos State, and co-chairman of Lagos International Financial Center. And also we have the Director International Development, the CT UK. That was during the Phase 1 report launch of LIFC at the Lagos House Marina recently. And top story we have on page 26, federal government oil production data cast doubt over 2 million barrel per day 2026 target. Police arrest suspect over death of gospel singer, 3 others in Ajah musical studio. Lastly, on Vanguard newspaper, manufacturers record 1.8 trillion naira unsold goods as demand slumps. Inventory surge contradicts official claims of economic recovery. Raw materials up 15.4% to 1.5 trillion naira. Nigeria's industrialization effort weakened. That's coming from CPPE CEO. Rising cost, weak demand squeeze firms. That's coming from CIS president. You can see that on page 31 of Financial Vanguard. And away from there, we move to the Punch. The Punch major headline says, Electoral Act standoff. Senate calls emergency plenary as protests loom. Occupying National Assembly protest slated for Monday. NLC, Falano, Ezekwesili, Utomi warn federal government. Senate urged recess to review electoral bill. You can see that story on page 2. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Makinde Wike camps are set for showdown at PDP headquarters today. You can see that on page 7. Now let's move to the Nation. The Nation is leading with Senate reconvenes on Electoral Act. Back of Industry secures CBN approval to operate non-interest banking window. And lastly, the Guardian's major headline this morning says T-bills see over 400% demand spike as manufacturers face credit squeeze. You can see that on page 6. Outcry grows over e-transmission ahead of a Senate emergency session. IPOP Kanu cancels a Monday sit-at-home order. You can see that on page 8. SAN rank under scrutiny as Attorney General of Federation. Chief Justice of Nigeria warned against abuse of influence. You can see that on newspaper 3. Directly below the banner on page 5, article, no economic sense in reviving failed refineries after $1.5 billion. Pope mourns victims of attacks in Nigeria, urges government to protect citizens. Lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, BOI secures CBN's approval for non-interest banking. You can see that on newspaper 5 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and still talking about the Electoral Act bill. Fresh facts have emerged on how the Senate rejected a proposal to make real-time electronic transmission of election results mandatory ahead of the 2027 general election. The recommendation, which also triggered wider reforms on election timelines, penalties for electoral offences, and voting technology, was voted by the 10th Senate under the leadership of Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio. Now, sources told Vanguard that during clause-by-clause consideration of the committee's report, the Senate initially worked on a version that retained real-time electronic transmission. However, after hours of deliberation and as plenary dragged late into the evening. The final version passed by the Senate was altered at the last minute to plunge the prohibition, and that this source said was even though the Senate had earlier approved electronic transmission overwhelmingly during a closed session. And of course, there is more to that story. Now, let's move away and talk about this one. Now, the police, as the Lagos State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of a suspect following the death of a gospel artist and three others who were found lifeless inside a music studio in Ajah, Lagos State. The victims, gospel artist Matthew Ogundele, Itunu Ogundele, Joseph Sonya, and blogger Matthew Awosanya, popularly known as Just TV, were discovered on Wednesday inside a studio located in Abraham axis of Ajah. Responsive to Vanguard on Sunday, the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer said the case initially reported at the Ajah Police Division had been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID Panti Yaba, for further investigation. And the police disclosed that the studio owner Akintoye Abimbola reported the incident. He told officers that the deceased were part of a gospel music crew invited to perform at a birthday praise program organized by his wife. The investigation, of course, continues, and to get more of that and to follow that story, of course, you can visit our website, www.vanguardngl.com. And let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person talking today is Mrs. Mrs. says, I pity men who go about having mistresses. If they die with their obsession, where do they think God will put them? And Mr. replied, exactly where he put King Solomon. A big example. But of course, Old Testament, that's the Old Testament, and we're dealing with the New Testament. Anyway, don't go for me. But this is where we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do well to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardagr.com, to get more of our top stories or to follow up on your favorite stories. Have a lovely Monday.